This interview is for information only and should not be considered as investment advice or a recommendation to buy shares in the company featured. Welcome to this Stock Box interview.
Joining us today is Tristan Potas, the CEO of First Development Resources. Hi Tristan, good afternoon to you because you're still in Perth. It's the end of your trip, I believe. You're heading back tomorrow. So welcome onto Stockbox. How are you doing and how has the trip been generally?
Hi Mark, yeah, thanks for having me on. Look, it's been a fantastic trip. It's been very busy. Got around a huge amount of the Australian continent, but really productive, in terms of what we've seen out on site, but also the meetings and engagements.
Excellent. You've been out quite a while, haven't you? Around a month, just looking at some of the images and things that have been going on the social media.
Yes, it's been a long one this time, Mark, but as I say, very productive, so well worth it.
Okay, good. Well, of course, we did speak to Charlie Stevenson of SI Capital directly from the CELTA project, and he did highlight the visual outcropping and talked about his excitement for the potential of the project. So how has the site visit shaped FDR's plans for the project, would you say?
Look, where do you start? I mean, the whole thing has been a great success, and I think it's been particularly successful insofar as we've been able to take other people who are key to the development of the business on the trip with us. So, in addition to Charlie, who I'll speak about in a minute, we also had members of the FDR board accompanying us and the senior management. We also had the competent person who was writing the competent person's report, which again is a key document which forms part of the listing documentation. He was able to visit site with us. And of course, as you mentioned, Charlie came along, and obviously having broker representation from the guys who will be marketing FDR to their clients and hopefully producing some form of research on the project and the company was of significant benefit, or will be of significant benefit to us. Now, look, again, getting out on site, particularly with the group, which was very technically biased, having a group of geologists on site together, actually on the ground, being able to visually see, feel, and touch the rocks, which we believe host multiple opportunities for FDR, was it was really significant. And as a result, we were able to really get into the detail about how we're going to progress the projects as we go forward. So, how has it shaped things for FDR? Immeasurably. It's from a strategic perspective, it's really focused our attention.
Okay, excellent. It's good to hear. Well, let's just talk a little bit about the Wallal Copper Gold project in the Paterson region. This is probably one of the more exciting projects in the portfolio, given what's going on in that region. Now that you've been on site, would this be perhaps the first point of focus, the first drill program for FDR once you've IPO'd?
Yeah, that's right, Mark. And look, just straight off the bat, we've spoken about this before, but I really want to emphasise the fact that at Wallal, I believe it's a fantastic opportunity for FDR and any potential investors. Obviously, it's located in a great jurisdiction in the Paterson, where there's been some incredible success of late. The work that we've done, highlighting these magnetic bullseye anomalies, it really does, give cause for genuine excitement about what potentially might be down there. Now, as we discussed previously, there isn't a great deal to see on the surface at Wallal. It is a buried target. But again, to get out there and get boots on the ground, it is significant because you can identify any logistical challenges that might come across, and you can start thinking about, some of those the minor things that people don't often think about, like, where can we establish a camp? Where can we do the core logging? Where can we then muster the core before we send it out to for processing wherever it's going to go? So that was really valuable. But also it's the incidental interactions that you have. So for example, I happened to just meet a bloke randomly in a roadhouse who had been in the area working at that roadhouse when another company had been exploring around 10 years ago to the east of Wallal, and just he was able to impart some of the experiences that he had with that company and their geologists. And although you can't infer everything, it's always great to hear laymen even talking about what may lie beneath the sands at Wallal. So really exciting. And to your point, Mark, post-listing, absolutely, our intention is to move very swiftly onto Wallal, get a drill turning to basically see what we've got.
Okay, good. Let's just talk then briefly about Rippon Hills and Braeside West. Of course, you did visit these as part of your whole portfolio project visiting out there. What anything to report there from site Rippon Hills and Braeside?
Again, well, not again, sorry. Rippon Hills and Braeside are very different to Wallal insofar as that those projects there is outcropping geology all the way through there. You can see the rocks which may be of interest and how they interact with these structures that we're targeting. So yeah, again, getting a technical group out on site and looking at these things and talking, where we hope to actually do the work about what we potentially might have was of significant benefit. Now, we have previously produced an announcement which gives an overview of the desktop review that we've completed for Rippon Hills and Braeside West. And like with our other projects, we will also provide additional investor information in the form of an overview video very soon to provide a bit more information about what's going on there. But like Wallal, Rippon Hills and Braeside West, and indeed like Celta, one thing that was really great, again, that was picked up by everyone who attended the site visit was, despite us being in what would be considered by British standards a fairly remote location, we were once again able to drive straight to where we wanted to get to, these potential targets which we've identified for further investigation, in a light vehicle, and it's relatively close to key infrastructure in that part of Western Australia, and that really can't be downplayed, right? Because you can have a great potential discovery, but if you can't access it efficiently, it can be a real problem right from the start. So like all of our projects, access is a real benefit that we get to play with going forwards.
Okay. Well, of course, this trip was long. You've been out there about a month, and throughout the whole process, different members of the team have flown in and met up. And of course, it's important to have that face-to-face time with all the team and the board members. How has that been? How is the team sort of gelling together, and how, well, maybe a sense of the vibe with everyone being around at the same time on site?
Yep. Another fantastic outcome from this trip is that, look, we've travelled huge distances in pretty close confinement, i.e. in planes and vehicles. And one thing that I recognised was that even despite the close proximity with people that some people we only met over Zoom calls and what have you, was that we went in as colleagues and friends, if you like, and came out in a similar sort of vein, and that's really important, right? Because you need to be able to work with these people, and if you can survive a fairly tortuous trip and not fall out, that's a key, that's a great win for me personally, and with the rest of the team. But yeah, you're right, FaceTime is of critical importance, right? What we're doing is extraordinary. Anybody who works in exploration knows that the risks and the chances of success they're not always clear cut. It's not easy. If it was easy, everybody would be doing it. It's a difficult thing, and so have a team that is fully aligned and fully focused on achieving a common objective is fantastic. But when you get to spend time face to face, it really reinforces that view. And just to see the various members of the board, discussing, talking about the strategic approach, how we're going to take these things forwards. But also speaking with our new exploration manager, who we hope to appoint very soon, who will be, a key member of the team in Australia. Massive value. Yeah, I can't really say much more about it really than it was. Although it's a long distance to travel, and it comes with logistical challenges, it was well worth it.
Okay. Well, generally, I'm getting the vibe that the trip was well worth it and a success, despite perhaps how tiring it probably was. Another thing I just want to ask you about, of course, it's very important, is of course the First Nations element, or as it's known in Australia, the heritage clearance. I know you've been working on this for a little while. Can you say anything about the status of this process?
Yep, so we have touched on it on previous chats, Mark. We actually applied for our heritage clearance survey back in January this year, and as part of this trip, we were able to complete the on-ground part of that survey, and that involved going out to site with members of the Nyangamata community, along with representation from WIMAC, who are the agents who act on their behalf, who supplied an anthropologist and an archaeologist. And the whole purpose of the visit is to basically walk the ground where we hope to develop the project in an attempt to identify any artifacts or things of cultural sensitivity that can be documented and recorded. Look, we have to wait for the final report to be received from WIMAC. But look, it was great to spend time on the ground with members of the community, find out a bit more about their culture and I guess any, not concerns, but any questions they have about what we want to do as a business, and then equally we were able to tell them about our plans at Wallal. But as part of that survey, we did actually walk the ground, which covers our initial Eastern Magnetic Bullseye Anomaly target and the proposed drill hole locations, and also the border anomaly, which is to the south of the Eastern Anomaly. So, that means that assuming that the report comes back and it's all clear, that was the final hurdle, if you like, that we needed to get over to allow us to get cracking with drilling post-listing.
Okay. Well, it sounds like things are certainly lining up ready for action pretty much straight away after IPO, which is always very, very good to get all the ducks in a row before that happens, so there's no delays. Of course, you are flying back tomorrow, back in the office, back to work, or are you having a couple of days rest, Tristan? What's coming up?
Oh no, it's straight. Nothing stops. We don't stop. We just keep going, which is true to FDR's, I guess, approach to everything that we do, and obviously with Power Metal Resources as well. I will be working from Yorkshire next week because I do need to spend a little bit of time with my wife and kids. I missed my son's first day of school, having been away, so it'll be nice to get back to a certain level of normality. But yeah, no, the work doesn't stop. The team has continued, as I have continued while in Australia, to be focused on the listing process and the assemblance of all the necessary documentation to really hit that process in the most efficient time possible.
Okay, good. Well, just maybe if I can get a final thought from you, Tristan, if you had a message perhaps for FGR investors or those interested in participating in the upcoming IPO, what would you say after this trip?
Yeah, thanks, Mark. So I would tell people that here at FDR, what we've got is a motivated and engaged team with a vast amount of collective experience in the sector, both from an exploration and also from a corporate perspective. We've assembled what I believe is an excellent portfolio of projects in a Tier 1 jurisdiction in areas with a proven track record of discovery. Despite all of our projects being relatively early stage, we have invested a significant amount of time and capital into developing our understanding pre-IPO, and that is to allow us to really home in on targets for further investigation. These targets will be refined through the project ranking and prioritizing project phase, which we're currently undertaking. We're hoping to develop multiple targets simultaneously post-listing. This will ensure that regular project updates and news flow are available, which will be linked to pre-established milestones post-listing. And finally, potential investors should know that here at FDR, we intend to deploy capital into the ground to work up our projects aggressively, all in the hope of making a significant discovery. And the team and the board are aligned to this. And as we've said previously, we're going to go after it.
Okay, excellent. Well, thank you very much, Tristan Potas, the CEO of First Development Resources, for joining us today live from Perth.
Thanks, Mark.
If you enjoyed this interview, then give us a thumbs up, a like or a retweet. Subscribe to us on YouTube or follow us on Twitter and hit that notification bell to be the first to know when we release new content. There's loads of great content on our website too, across all our programs at stockboxmedia.com. Thank you for watching.